It's Kemp Peterson here again, back at you with another video. And yes, yesterday I did a video talking about me possibly joining a STEM program, and I'll just let you know I did join it. So I put in the mail today, and I'll probably get it either by next week or the week after next. So I should get it in 2 weeks, I would say. And of course, I did have this old microwave, because last week I was talking about why you shouldn't just throw your stuff away, your junk. And I had this microwave, it still worked. I was trying to get some money from the pawn shop, but they said it was like kind of rusty inside, which is the reason I bought a new one to begin with. So I went to the thrift shop and just gave it to them. Didn't get any money, but they gave me one of these. So I'll just take to like my whoever does my tax and get discounts. But anyway, y'all want to see what this tile is about? Emergency fund. What is emergency fund? It's basically money put aside for emergency. And what's emergency? Is it emergency for like when your car breaks down? Not exactly. That's not an emergency. Because the emergency is pretty much something that you don't expect. Because you know cars wear down, so you kind of expect it to happen at some point. But with emergency, not so much. So what should you use your emergency fund for? Mainly, you want to use it for in case you lose your job, for example. So maybe one day you come to your job, something could happen. Maybe you did something you weren't supposed to do. Or who knows, it might not even be your fault. Your boss might have just been a jerk. I'm not going to say a D word because I might get demonetized on the channel, so I'm just going to say jerk. So you lose your job. And how much should you have for the emergency fund? You should have a minimum of 3 weeks. So somewhere between, not 3 weeks, but 3 months. So you want to have at least 3 months of emergency funds. So in case you don't have a job, you can still live for a while. So 3 months, you have 3 months to look for a job before an emergency fund runs out. Some people say it's good to have like 6 months, which would be even better. So 6 months, it's enough time to find a job. Now, would that job replace the income he's getting from the other job? I mean, it's hard to say. But that's what the emergency fund for. And of course, you can also use it for hospital bills. Because I don't expect to break my arm. I don't expect to need surgery. I just don't expect that. But stuff could happen. Could get that crazy girlfriend just stabs me out of nowhere. Guess what? I had to go to a hospital if I got stabbed. By the way, if your boyfriend or girlfriend stabbed you, they should be in jail anyway. I'll just use that as an example. Because you don't expect to get stabbed. Hit by a car. Those things you just do not expect to happen. So let's say you get injured. Your hospital bill's like $5,000. It's like, now what? Are you going to take that $5,000 out of your saving account? Most people probably will, because majority of the people, they don't have the emergency fund. They just have like a regular saving account. So you want to separate your emergency fund from your regular saving account. And of course, it don't always have to be your hospital bill. It could be like your kid. So maybe your kid, you know how kids play around. They do dumb things. Your kid probably feels all cool climbing up a high tree. Then they fall and they get injured. You gotta pay that bill, not them, because remember they're just a kid. So losing your job, getting injured, paying for somebody else's hospital bill, which will be your kid, of course. Or maybe you have like an elderly parent. They can't work no more because they're too old and they get injured. You might have to pay their bill. Then there's law, which is the legal trouble. Yes, it happens. None of us expect to get arrested. None of us. I mean, I had no intentions on ever doing any jail time, but stuff could happen. You might have to pay for bail or get a lawyer because you do not want, what you call that, public defender. You don't want to have those kind of lawyers because they're garbage. You want to have a good lawyer. So that's another reason to have the emergency fund to the side. Because, like I said, none of us expect to get arrested, but things could happen. You could just be minding your own business, and some fool could attack you. They could punch you in the face, and you hit them right back, just for self-defense. And the cops, all the cops see is two people trading punches, and you could end up being in jail. Just like when you were a kid, sometimes a kid could just come up to you, they could hit you, you hit them back, and guess what? You both end up in detention. So it's pretty much the same thing when you're an adult. Sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that's another reason it's good to have an emergency fund, because you pay a good lawyer, and who knows, you might not have to do any jail time if you have a good lawyer. Because, not to get off topic, but my brother had this friend. He worked at UPS. And how about his boss actually attacked him? And of course, my brother's friend fought back. And guess what? My brother's friend ended up doing time, but the manager, his boss, who actually started the fight, didn't do any time. But of course, my brother friend likely had like one of those public defenders. And I believe he did like 9 months. So it's not too long, but still, that's kind of long for the crime he got. But if he would have had a better lawyer, he probably would have did 0 jail time. So what else is emergency fund good for? If something happens to your house, I would say. Maybe like a hurricane. Well, you should have like insurance for that one anyway, but who knows? Sometimes there's money left over after insurance. So that's another reason to have emergency fund. But of course, sometimes there's like repairs that you might need for your house. The roof. You might need plumbing. I mean, things can happen when you have a home. So I would say emergency funds could be used for your home also. If you agree or disagree, you can leave comments when it comes to the home. I'll put that in their emergency fund. Now, the $1 million question, how do you build up an emergency fund? What should you do? Well, this is what I'm going to tell you to do. Take every time you get paid, take 1% of your paycheck and put that towards an emergency fund. And don't use it unless you really have to. Those things I just tell you, like, what did I say use it for? Hospital bills, loss of job. If somebody in your family need to have their bill paid for the hospital, of course. You get injured. If I didn't say, I think I already said injury. And of course, you get in trouble with the law. So that's what you want to use it for. In the house, I would say, in case something just happened like bad plumbing, it's unexpected. So that's the only time you want to use your emergency fund. So that 1% doesn't sound like too much, but you're not going to use the emergency fund every single month or even every single year. You might not even use it every single decade, because the emergency fund, that's just something you're not going to use too much. It's more like a backup. But you're taking 1% out. But this is another way to make the emergency fund kind of build up faster. As you know, I have like a Digit account, and there's a way to pretty much have your emergency fund build up on there. So Digit will actually take money from your account and put it into the emergency fund. So you can do it that way too. I do both. I take 1% of my income from my paychecks and pretty much put into, what's that account I have? Yalda. I use Yalda as the emergency fund. But of course I also have like my emergency fund building up in Digit. So at some point I take money out of Digit, put into the Yalda. That's how I'm going to build up my emergency fund. And I'll have my Digit account down here in case you want to check it out. So I pretty much went over what I wanted to talk about, the emergency fund. Because most of us don't have $500. Most of us don't even have $500 for an emergency. I believe I looked that up somewhere. I'm not sure where, but from what I heard, most of us just can't take $500 if an emergency happens. We can't just take it out like that. So the emergency fund, remember this, it has to be separate from your saving account. And you also don't use it for your car either. I'll probably do another video of a way to set up in case you have car repairs. I might do a future video for that, but for this one, you do not want to use the emergency fund for your car. So if you like my video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. If you want to see future videos, just hit on that bell button. That way, every time I make a video, you will be notified. But that being said, have a good weekend. Bye for now.